Hi there, my name is Kronenberg and welcome to my channel. This is a film review of Dawn of the Dead. It's a horror, came out in 1978. It's an 18, it's at 2 hours and 6 minutes. Amazon rating is 4.7 out of 5, IMDb is 7.8 out of 10. We'll read the Amazon synopsis. With the US in the grip of a zombie apocalypse, 4 survivors find refuge in a shopping mall. But the flesh-eating hordes, still possessed by an instinctive desire to consume, are drawn to the same destination. What follows is a nail-biting fight for survival. George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead remains one of the greatest horror films ever made and is now presented in a brand new restoration. So the director is obviously George A. Romero, who's famous for Night of the Living Dead. I wasn't a great fan of that myself, but there you go. Producers, there's 7 of them, but the one with producer on his name was Richard P. Rubinstein, Rubinstein, who also produced Dune. Music, again, there's 6 of them, but it's actually a band called Goblin, or group. And as stated on IMDb, for 25 years, Goblin has been scoring soundtracks for Italian films, mainly Giallo-style films directed by Dario Argento, one of my favourite directors. I love this guy. The group consisted of keyboardist Claudio Simonotti, percussionist Walter Martino, bassist Fabio Pignatelli, guitarist Massimo Moranti, percussionist Agostino Marangola, and saxophone player Antonio Marangola. So, you know, what they've done music for Deep Red, but if it's the Claudio Simonetti people, and I'm pretty sure they did the soundtrack to Demons, did they not? I'll have a look. I'm curious. I'll look that up in a second actually, because I'm very curious. I can't remember if they did the soundtrack to Demons. Let me just scroll my backside down to the thing a minute. Music, Goblin. I'm just curious if they did Demons, because they did the church. That's a horror thing. Did they do Demons? Surely they did. Maybe not. Well, who would have thought it? I was pretty sure they did some of the stuff in there. Anyway, so the cast is David Emge, E-M-G-E, who was Stephen, who was in Basket Case 2. Ken Foree, F-O-R-E-E, who was Peter, who was in Halloween. Scott H. Reinger, R-E-I-N-I-G-E-R, was Roger, who was in Night Riders. And Galen Ross, G-A-Y-L-E-N, who was Francine, was in Creepshow. Locations, well, we have Monroeville Mall, Business Route 22 in Pennsylvania, in USA. That was for the shopping mall. WPGH-TV in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for the TV station. Again, obviously Pittsburgh. And 247 Fort Pitt Boulevard in Pittsburgh was the zombie apartment from the SWAT raid sequence. I didn't actually realise that was part of a sequence, a zombie apartment, but there you go. It's also known as Zombies and Zombie 1 in various countries. Now, obviously, you can tell I'm a bit of a buff on this one. It's one of my favourite horror films. Dario Argento did a little bit of it, so did a couple of others, but yeah, it's George A. Romero. Anyone who loves zombie films knows this. If you hear the dog screaming like a banshee, that's because he's looking at some cat that's walking by or something. Yeah, it's one of my favourite films. It's brilliant. I love it. I was quite grateful. There's actually a few versions. So in Amazon, there is 3 versions. Let me just get them for you here, and I'll show you what I mean. So there's you have the original Dawn of the Dead, which is the one that I watched for 2 hours and what did I watch it for? The theatrical cut, which was the 2 hours and 6 minutes. Then there is the Argento cut, which is 1 hour and 59 minutes, which is a bit bizarre. And then there's the extended canned cut, which is 2 hours and 19 minutes. But if you watch, that's the newer version. It came out in 2004. There's a new version, obviously, so it's another rewritten one. But so that's what I watched. I watched the 1 hour, the 2 hour and 6 minutes, like it means anything. I don't know. It starts straight away into the film. So there's none of this, waiting and figuring out what's going on. Like some film, I'm not going to state certain films that are like I don't know, 28 Days Later, or even some of the Return of the Living Dead, or some of the like City of the Living Dead. God help me, that's just or whatever. It literally just goes straight in. As soon as the music kicks in, boom, you're there. They're all running around like nutters. Hell's breaking loose, and we're at a TV station. I can't remember if it's on the trailer, but all hell is literally from the very, very beginning. And I think that's fantastic, because it's none of this build-up that we have to then sit through half an hour going, oh, right, let's have the backup story of this person here. This is Roger. Let's going out for sushi on the night out. Now we're going to walk down this way. It's like none of that crap. We'll go straight into the film. Brilliant. How films should be. Especially if it's a zombie film. I mean, you're pretty obvious you know what you're watching. Literally, the credits are rolling in, and then I was reading it, and so I was like, oh, Dario Argento, the Goblins. I was like, yay! I love this guy. There was of the very beginning. It tells you about the apartments and all this business. There's a hostage situation, and this copper just runs in and kills this person with a headshot. Right, it's a fantastic scene. I mean, for a killing, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Bear in mind, this came out in the 70s, late 70s to early 80s, or 1978. So, there you go. So, in the middle of all hell breaking loose, right, and everybody's running around screaming, we're going to die, there's a load of locals and hunters, right, and they're all just sort of meeting up, having some drinking out in the fields, music's there, beer. They're all having camaraderie, doing clay pigeon shooting, all sorts of stuff. And then they're off killing the dead. They're just like going along, and they're just like plowing them down with bullets and stuff. And there's a couple of people just laying down the ground doing like, when you do target practice with the rifles, you see it in films and stuff, and they go, okay, I'm going to hit that bottle from 500 yards or something like that. Well, they're trying to do the same as zombies. It's like, oh, you missed him, damn. Let me get a bit better shot on that one. And we do arrive at the shopping centre quite early, which is kind of good, because that's the main area of the film. So it's not one of those ones that it's going to appear in a shopping mall, but we're going to spend an hour just getting there. No, you get there, and I think that's good, because that's where the film is mostly based. So they arrive. I like my quotes, as you probably know. So they manage to get in this room, right? And let me get her name before I forget who she is. So Galen Ross, who's Francine. There's only 4 main characters. That's all I really picked. Starts looking at these tins and it's like, says, oh great, spam. And then Roger says, did you bring a tin opener? She goes, well, no. He says, well, they don't knock it. It comes with its own key. I thought so true. It's the zombie apocalypse. It's like, damn, I didn't bring a tin opener. Well, it's okay. I can open this myself. So there's obviously the fun bits. I mean, literally, there's some stunts coming into this where the main guy does all his own stunts. So Roger slid down. On an escalator, you have the middle bit where you sometimes have these stupid signs or little blobs, not blobs, but little bumps and stuff. So because everybody wants to go down it and slide down it, but they always put something there so you can't slide down it. Well, there was none of that. So he just slid down it, flicked off the end, and landed with his feet. And there was no stuntman, none of that rubbish. He just did it, and I thought, there you go, that's how it should be. He obviously doesn't have a £4 billion insurance on his name like a lot of these other big, actors. Can't do anything. Apart from some, don't get me wrong, Tom Cruise does his own stunts. Whether you love him or hate him, he does his own stunts, so fair play to him. Good on him. There's so many that don't. I'm going to walk down this escalator. Quick, get a stuntman! Oh, okay. So, Roger I'm not explaining all too much about the film because you need to watch it to understand. And they're outside doing stuff with lorries and that, and he forgot his bag. So there's a tense bit involving lorries. He's like, oh, I need my bag, I need my bag. He ran back for his bag. We don't know what was in the bag. It didn't go down too well getting his bag, but he got his bag. And like I say, we don't know what was in the bag. Maybe it was insulin, I don't know, but we didn't get anything. And here's the famous question that when you watch this, you probably think, what would you do if you had a shopping mall with electricity? Because there's no electricity. The electricity was completely going. Apparently, I think Peter was saying, it's nuclear. I thought, well, I don't think so. But anyway, so they were walking around, and so you got electricity, food, clothes, there's a barber shop, games arcade, cooking, everything. Would you stay there or leave? I think I know my answer. it's like, I can have food, I can go do anything I want. There's cinemas and everything. And they have little scenes now and then into the films. It's not all complete zombies and all that stuff. There is other things kicking off. So there's a meal where Peter's cooking a meal for some people, along with the music, and he's sort of sitting there. It's all nice and tranquil, and he's coming along with some stuff. I don't know what he cooks, but it done something. He says, "Oh, this looks fantastic." He says, "Yes, here's the sauce." And I thought, my God, because of course you might as well. Francine's learning how to fly this helicopter because, of course, God forbid something happens. And on her first attempt, she's better at landing on a flat surface than I am playing Battlefield for about 10 years or something, and I can't land to save my bloody life. I usually hit the rudder, the tail thing, and just or hit a tree or just crash into the ground. But first try, off she flew, came back, landed perfectly. Thought, fantastic. Perfect. Special effects were good though. I mean, they were fantastic, especially when the bikers came in. Again, I think it shows on the trailer, I can't remember, but there's bikers that appear because it has to be something else. They were like digging around in their stomachs and stuff like this. It was typical old school. I mean, old school because it came out in the 70s, 78 or whatever. So it was going to be. It's none of that modern stuff. So it is. And yes, the zombies do have this grey complexion. They don't have. But I mean, they're dead. That's what colour you are. I'm assuming. I don't. Well, actually, I do know that. But yeah, that's what colour you are. And then I saw Tom Savini. So he appeared in the film, and I thought, did he do the special effects? And I watched the credits coming up, and yes, he did, and he's fantastic. That's his main area of expertise, is Tom, and he did special effects for this film and various other films, including From Dusk Till Dawn. He did the special effects for that as well, and he was in Dusk Till Dawn. He was the one with the fan that came down. He kind of like touched it with his tongue, going, "Oh God!" And he was a bit confused, thinking, I'm turning into a vampire. And had to hide his hands behind his back. If you've not seen the film, unfortunately, I've just given a bit of away, but he should have done by now. So I was glad to see him there, because he's a good actor, and he's a good special effects guy. There's not much I can say about the film because it's just fantastic. I love the film. I normally do reviews of films that people go, "What the hell is that rubbish?" or "What rating's that? 3 out of 10? My God." But now and then I like doing film reviews of films that I really enjoy. And this is one of them. And I just picked it up. I thought, I think I'll watch Dawn of the Dead. Why the hell not? There is a new version, 2004. And apparently, what's his name is in it? Scott H. Reiniger. He's in it. Apparently he's the general. Which is confusing if you watched the one I've just watched. But yeah, so I do review some of these other films. Not all the ways, because everybody's seen them. Well, if you don't like zombies, then you won't have seen it. But most people have seen them. If you like horrors, you'll have seen Dawn of the Dead. If you haven't, you'll have heard of it. Everybody's heard of Night of the Living Dead. There's Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. There's City of the Living Dead, but that's not by them. That's by somebody else. I think that's actually by Dario Argento. Definitely Italian. Or was it Italian. I can't remember. I might think of something else. I know it was a Vipco film. Gee, I'm jumping sideways. Sorry about that. I keep doing this when I hit horror films because I actually do have some sort of knowledge about these kind of things, believe it or not. So yeah, it was a great film. The storyline was good. The acting was great. The zombies were good. There were some funny scenes. You know, the effects were great. I'm biased, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, but that's just me. I don't give I hardly give any film a 10. I mean, there's always something wrong with it, you know. But yeah, an 8. 8 is good enough for me. So yeah, very good film, very good film. Enjoyed it a lot. I don't think I'd have watched the other ones, but I don't know. That's just me. Anyway, sorry, it's a bit of a longer review than I normally do because obviously I found one that I can just talk about as opposed to what the hell's going on? What the hell's that thing over there? What, is that even alive? So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed watching and listening to this film review of Dawn of the Dead. Please subscribe to my channel. It does help me grow apparently. So does the thumbs ups, I think. I don't know. They keep changing the algorithms all the bloody time. I haven't got a clue. Basically, if you enjoy watching it, you know, there you go. That's all that really matters these days. Leave a comment in the comment box below if you watched this. Have you seen any other Dead films? By the way, Return of the Living Dead is fantastic. I've got my double box set coming on its way. Two DVDs. Looking forward to watching that. Not a bad question, Bert. Sorry, I'm taking a line out of the film. The one that I haven't reviewed. If you've got any other ideas of films, let me know. But I have already got a list as long as my arm and going out the door. I have said before, I am doing some asylum films because somebody suggested some asylum films. I have done one, I think, after this has been released. Before this has been released, I mean. And then I've got others on my listing, hopefully. Then there is interesting types, actually. You know, they're not all what you think they are. But then I had a look, and I've done some before of Asylum. The Aquarium of the Dead was an Asylum film, which I didn't realise. So there you go. Hey up, dogs up. Right, I better go. And so there you go. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.